Hey, if you're a founder running a webinar funnel to scale your business, stay with me for the next 2 minutes because I'm going to show you something that's going to completely change the way that you look at your webinar funnel right now. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it, I promise you. So listen, you're not here because your webinar funnel is broken. Let's be real. You're here because you're smart enough to realize that something between the registration and the revenue, something inside there is quietly leaking. And you don't know what. And you ask, what's leaking? Most operators never ask that question. They just keep spending more on ads, they hemorrhage money, trying different things. Now here's what nobody in the webinar space wants to tell you. You already have the funnel, the ads, the offer, the closers, right? The problem isn't any of those things. The problem is a 60-second window that opens up the moment somebody registers for your webinar, and it closes before your first reminder email even sends. Watch, let's say you click the button somewhere on this page and you register for a webinar, just like somebody who registers for your webinar. The moment you register, this 60-second window, it opens up. In that window, your registrant is still excited. Context is still loaded, and if you call them, they'll still pick up the phone. Harvard Business Review did a study on this, that if you call a lead between 1 and 5 minutes, the drop-off rate or increase in contact rate is about 391%. After that closes, they're gone. Not because they don't care, but because life happened and your follow-up, it fired way too late. Think about it. Every confirmation email fires after the window. Every SMS sequence fires after the window. Every setter call, every replay email, every retargeting ad fires after that window. Every single time. The result? Well, 400 people register, 100 something show up, 10 book calls. You perform at 100% energy while a fraction of your registrants even got in the room. Now here's what I discovered after installing this across 50 other webinar funnels. The webinar doesn't start the moment you go live. It starts the moment they register. And there are 10 trigger points between registration and revenue where that window opens up and where your current system is firing after it every single time. The registration moment, the go live moment, the drop off moment, the post webinar moment. These are all moments that your registrant goes through in the entire journey of your webinar funnel. And each one of these have a window. Each one of these have a script. Each call that's supposed to go out has a specific job. Here's the thing. In order for a human to call every single webinar registrants immediately after they sign up, call them the moment they drop off, and call them after the webinar relentlessly for an entire year until we book them to an appointment or they opt out, that's like impossible, right? You're gonna need a team of like 15 to 17 people, 15 to 20K a month, and it's just not like feasible, right? So what we do is we teach you how to install an AI webinar concierge. It's designed with NEPQ, sales scripts, and some of the best objection handles in the industry. It'll hit every single registrant in under 60 seconds with a full memory of the previous conversation across every single touch point. I call the framework the ARC formula, the ARC formula. Attend, retain, convert. Because that's really what every webinar operator cares about, right? Attendance rate. How many people registered to how many people showed up. Retention rate. How many people showed up to how many people stayed till the pitch. And conversion rate. How many people stayed till the pitch to how many people actually took the next action, whether it's to book a call or to buy something from you. Right? Attend, retain, convert. 3 phases, 10 trigger points, 1 continuous conversation from the moment they register to the moment they book a call with your closers. Here's what's crazy. The very first webinar we installed it on, we doubled their show rates. Same offer, same traffic, same closers. Krista Mayshore, a $72 million webinar operator, saw her book calls increase by 30%. Doubled her ROAS. Les Brown runs it. Kiala Kanai runs it. These are all guys that are doing north of 8 figures on webinar funnels. Different niches, different offers, different audiences, same result every single time. Because the 60-second window is not niche specific. It exists in every webinar funnel. And it's costing every single webinar operator revenue. So look, on the AI Powered Webinar, which is a 60-minute live session I'm going to run, I'm going to show you exactly where to install AI into your webinar funnel to give you a 30% lift in throughput in your webinar funnel. And it's not by rebuilding your funnel, it's not by redoing your ads, and it's not by hiring more setters. It's by installing a realistic sounding voice AI trained with NEPQ and sales scripts who will attack them in that 60-second window. First thing we're going to cover is the attend formula. The moment somebody registers, we're going to call them with a welcome call that has 3 goals. Number 1, to make sure the links didn't land in spam. Number 2, to make sure they know what they signed up for. And number 3, to get them hyped up about the webinar by telling them about a bonus that's going to be available on the webinar. Number 2 is the retain formula. The moment they hop in the webinar, if they drop off before or after the pitch, we're going to attack them with different scripts to call them to get them back onto another webinar or to call them to get them directly booked into a closer's calendar. Number 3 is a convert formula. This is the post-webinar booking sequence that turns every attendee into a book call at a ridiculous percentage. At the end of the hour, you're going to experience the AI webinar concierge live. On the call, you'll hear exactly what your registrants would hear from the moment they sign up to the moment they book a call. The training is completely free. There's nothing to buy. You can just show up. So listen, the webinar operators who figure this out in the next 90 days are going to have a structural advantage that compounds every single month. The operators who wait are going to watch the gap widen and wonder, when did everyone else get so much better at running webinars? So don't be that guy. Click them up below. Secure your spot. I promise you it won't be boring. And your next webinar room is about to feel completely different.